Hello everybody and welcome back to your Leeds United Huddersfield Town preview. I mean, what a game this is going to be, guys. Leeds on a fantastic run of form. Should have beat Brentford, beat Bristol City, beat Reading, beat the rest of them. And we're on a real good vein of form now. And I'm thoroughly excited, but still very nervous with this one. I'm not going to lie, I am still very nervous. It's getting down to the single-digit number of games that we have left in this calendar season. And it's the business end. It's the run-in. It is the final hurdles. And Leeds United have got to be on point for every single game. But before we start this video, this proper preview that I'm going to get into, I just wanted to enlighten you guys to this. I mean, I purchased this the other day. Excuse me, you might not be able to fully see it. This is one of the paintings that we got today. As you can see, it is the painting that have been advertised on the channel. My personalised number there, number 17. Can anyone guess why it's number 17? But an absolutely stunning photo. Personalised, and the link will be in the description. Also, alongside that, guys, we have the mugs here that are provided to you by Retro Hut. I've got my personalised one here, which is absolutely fantastic, which I drink out of every day. And you never know, Conor number 10 on the back of Leeds shirt one day. Who knows? Probably be McGilligan, wouldn't it? But anyway, let's get into it, guys. Let's get into your Huddersfield Town preview. And yeah, as I've said at the start, I mean, that's it. That's summarising it, really. It's a massive game. It is a huge game. But Leeds have got to go out there and do the business. And we know that now. I mean, a lot of people are comparing to last season. You've got to get that out of your heads. You know, we had Villa, we had Sheffield United, we had Birmingham away, we had Norwich, we had a lot of tough games. Brentford in there as well. We had a lot of tough games and we struggled massively towards the end, and we didn't have that time to basically bring it back. We didn't have that time to get a little bit of form together. We've done it differently this time. It was mid-season, we've had our little bit of a fault, and now we've brought it back. You know, there's no real comparisons. I mean, the only comparison would be if we just completely flop. But currently, we're on a really good run. I think we look different. I think we look really different. I think the additions of Helder Costa and Ben White are coming to the fore now. The return of Calvin Phillips, obviously from his ban, he's got something to prove. And I think Jack Harrison levels above what he was this time last season. And I think the only place we look a little bit light is up top. Obviously, Patrick Bamford. Personally, I don't think he should be in the starting 11. I think you put Tyler Roberts there all day, every day. I think when Bamford was out last year and Roof was out, I thought Roberts came in and did a really good job. I thought he was really decent up top. And I think he can do a job in that striker role. We bought him as a striker. You know, he is a striker. So JK been out and Bamford been out. Let's just touch wood that Roberts isn't injured again. But if we keep that kid fit, he's a more than viable option. And for me, he should be starting. He holds the ball up. He's a lot more dynamic in his play. He receives the ball deep, then runs at the centre-halves, which is something Patrick Bamford isn't doing. I don't feel as well his physicality against Bristol City, against Reading, against Hull is all there anymore. He doesn't, I don't know, I'm not really seeing, I thought against Middlesbrough it'd have been a really good game for him. Granted, he didn't get the service, but he also still had chances, and I thought he was out-battled by shots, and I even thought the other day against Pennington, he was out-battled there. Pennington winning the majority of the headers against Patrick Bamford. So I think it's time out for him, and I think Roberts gets into the starting 11, and I think we'd look a lot better. I really do. I think his hold-up plays was decent throughout the 8 to 10 games last season when he was in, and I think he was very good. The problem with Roberts is it's always his fitness, and we all know that. But if you can get that right, I think we've got a real player there for our last 10 games. But there's a lot of differences, guys, and when I was speaking just a second ago about last season, and we've got a better goal difference, which serves as an extra point. We're not 2 points ahead this time of Sheffield United, but 5 points ahead of Fulham, and it just feels a little bit different. Listen, I'm not undermining Fulham at all. 21 points in the last 10 games is absolutely fantastic. One of the form teams in the division. Watched the last 2 games. I think they were pretty lucky. I think Preston at home, they were pretty lucky. Swansea, they were definitely lucky. I mean, Swansea, for me, should have won that game. A penalty which wasn't given, and an unbelievable penalty that wasn't given. And that was the same referee who awarded Fulham that timid penalty against Leeds United. And I just feel they're getting the look of the green at the minute, which is very good. But football goes in waves, and they'll be getting their serving due very soon, hopefully by Leeds United at home. But they've got a lot of tough fixtures coming up, and I was saying this the other day on Twitter. I do think it's a 3-horse race now. I think Forest and Brentford would have to have a massive turnaround, and Leeds would have to go on a huge slump. And weirdly enough, I'm now looking up, could Fulham even get in there and Leeds get in there and West Brom drop out? The possibilities really are endless at this, with 10 games to go, 30 points to play. But I think we've got a really kind run in, as I've said, unlike last season. And I think the players are on a different level as well. I think they've learned from last season. So going into this game at the weekend, it's no different. Would we have lost this game last season? I probably think we would have. With 10 games to go, I think Huddersfield coming to town. Obviously, they were in the Premier League last year. But, the Yorkshire Derby, their cup final, they'll love nothing more. You saw Hull pretty much sell out more than they have done this season. There's little pockets of fans on the side towards the Leeds fans at the weekend. And they love that game. Borough love that game midweek as well. They all want to get Leeds off the perch, especially the ones in the Teesside, Humberside, Yorkshire region. So I'm fully expecting Huddersfield to completely turn up. Hull, for example, it was a really good first half from Hull, and they've not performed like that anywhere near in 2020. Same with Borough. I watched Borough the other night against Forest, and they might have got a draw, but they were appalling. They're much better against Leeds in that first half and large parts of the second. So you always know teams are going to up the game against Leeds United. It is just a fathom of being the biggest club in the Championship. And Huddersfield, they'll come to town and they've got some players. They've got some real quality players, but you forget last time we went to whatever stadium it's called. Is it the Gal Farm? I don't even know what it's called. The John Smiths. I'm not sure what it's called anymore. Changes names every year. Last time we went there, we kept Carl and Grant really quiet. Hogg didn't really have any bearing on the game. Bakuna wasn't really involved. And I think, the only real chances they had at the end was it was a Grant header, wasn't it, where he probably should have scored. But throughout the game, I thought Leeds were dominant. The Cowley brothers were still in charge there. So it is one of those where you think if we can just stick to our duties, play our game. I know they'll be high on confidence after last week, but they were up against Charlton. Leeds United have come through a real bout, deserved winners for me against Brentford. That was sort of a Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder decision, wasn't it? I thought we were just a better team all throughout, and they got away with it. And the games from then on, I think we've been very, very good. So I think we should go in there full of confidence. I think you've seen the best of Helder Costa now, which is great to see. The best of Jack Harrison. Our wingers are really coming to the fore. Luke Ayling's been absolutely superb. Cooper seems to be revitalised with Calvin Phillips just ahead of him. And obviously, Meslier, I believe it is pronounced in France, the new goalkeeper that we have to sort of deal with, which is fantastic. I really liked his performance at the weekend. The reason I did, a couple of dodgy kicks, but how many dodgy kicks have we seen from Kiko Casilla in the past couple of seasons? They've been endless. I know he hits his man every now and again, but 50-60% of those passes, the fullbacks do have to work extremely hard to get the balls. So, Elan Meslier coming in and doing that for the first 2 or 3. I thought there was a really dangerous ball that was drilled in. I believe it was by Batty. Honeyman came across him. Really comfortable hands there by Meslier, and I think he could be a fantastic acquisition. I just think things are different right now, and I'm really excited for the next 10 games. So quickly touching on Kiko Casilla, we don't know the full facts. There's been videos that have emerged from the Charlton end of, it looks like Bon sort of reacting massively to what Kiko Casilla said when he was telling the players to get out of the box. Then Lecco obviously responded afterwards. I've seen that video as well. It's a very unusual response to say nothing was said at all. I'm shocked about the language which was apparently used. I don't think Kiko's defence has done himself any good when they've come out and said they didn't even know what the term meant. Whether or not you guys believe that or not, I'm not 100% sure. But, any institution, any company, any establishment shouldn't tolerate racism at all, at any means. And I'm not going to go here and start saying I'm going to, tear apart the FA's sort of statement and look at the analytics of that. Moscow White did an excellent job of that, of the square ball, a couple of things which I retweeted, which I thought were key in the case. And it's a 62-page document, but there's a nice summary of it if you want to go check that out on the square ball. But and we've got to move forward now. You know, with our new French starlet, we've got to have a lot of confidence in him. I'm excited by him. I'm excited by the team at the minute, and I think we're going to win. I think we're going to win at the weekend. I think we're going to win well. And I think, you know, there's going to be a sustained bit of pressure from Huddersfield, but, you know, you expect Huddersfield to come and play open, expansive football, particularly in the last sort of like 4 or 5 games where they've done okay. But are they going to come and do that against Leeds? I don't think so. And unlike last season where we really struggled to break the bottom half teams down when they didn't come and play open, expansive football, this time we seem to have the formula. And I really like the fact that Roberts is, you know, back into the fore, because he is the type of player who can unlock defences. He will run at them. He will commit plays. He will create space for players like Helder Costa. And I think players like Helder Costa and Jack Harrison, who's at another level to last season. And as I've just mentioned, Helder Costa, who we didn't have last year, I think they could be the keys to unlocking defences. And there's been absolutely no sort of coincidence that this season we've been able to do that a lot more efficiently and a lot better, you know, with those players in our arsenal. You know, obviously Harrison at a different level, and just the introduction of Helder Costa, I think, is getting better and better every week. So that's it really, guys. I'm going to go with a 2-0 Leeds United win. I will be there in the West Stand for Huddersfield and the Fulham game, the next 2 home games. So make sure if you see me, you come say hi. We had a pint with a couple of you last week, and really good fun all the week before. I can't remember. I don't know what day it is at the minute. But I hope you're doing fantastically well, guys. Make sure you slap a like on the video. As I said, leave a comment. And hopefully we'll get the win and we can progress on to Cardiff, and hopefully we can do the same. But let's just keep this up, and then we're into single digits. So like I said, guys, make sure you check out the paintings in the description below, the prints, the watercolours, everything you need there. Check out Retro Hut with the mugs that I've just shown you at the start of the video, and I'll see you in a bit.